In this season of good cheer, there are few things more cheerful than the art of Laurel Burch. You might not recognize her name, but sometime, somewhere, you have almost certainly come across the warmth, whimsy, and kaleidoscopic colors of her designs. It might have been a greeting card, a pair of earrings, or a silk scarf. Whatever it was certain to tickle that happy place in the brain. Laurel Burch's fantastic felines and wide-eyed women have earned her riches and international acclaim. But behind the glamour, Laurel Burch lives in a world of pain.
It's like being in a very shaky house. I couldn't count on my house, ever. My temple here, my body.
Burch was born with a rare disease that causes her bones to snap like toothpicks.
So I was constantly breaking bones. Just from walking, my feet would break, and someone would bump me and my arm would break.
How do you get through that?
I think I'm really feisty. I am very free-spirited and very much going to do it my way.
And what better place for a free spirit than San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury in the 60s? Burch was there among the flower children, but far from carefree. She was 19, on welfare, a single mother, despite the danger of pregnancy.
My doctor made a comment that my pelvis might break when the baby came through, but I have a beautiful daughter, and my son was born just fine. I want to take you into my treasure room.
To keep her little family together in those early days, Burch sold street jewelry, stringing together beads and junk metal hammered into shape in her kitchen on the back of an old frying pan.
This heavy frying pan.
Oh, my gosh. I would hammer this out on the frying pan and make it flat, and then I would make it into shape. The neighbors were not happy.
One day in 1969, a shop in Ghirardelli Square offered to sell her jewelry, and almost overnight, the name Laurel Burch went from street to chic. The high school dropout with no formal art training suddenly found herself both artist and entrepreneur at a time when most women didn't get a chance to be either.
Did you have people saying, you can't do this?
Oh, absolutely, starting with my father, my own father. He one time said to me, "You're just a hippie hammering out jewelry on a frying pan. What makes you think that you can make any kind of difference or have a business?"
Soon she was off to Egypt to buy mummy beads, and the People's Republic of China, where she struck a deal to mass-produce her new line of earrings, a remarkable achievement considering the year was 1971, and China was still officially closed to Americans.
You were, in fact, the first female artist to ever be invited?
And business person. I mean, to be invited to actually do business in China with them.
Now, I am wearing today a pair of earrings that I have had for 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
It turns out this early earring design caused one of the first challenges for Burch in China. She had created a bird like this, with a human-shaped eye, but
when they made the very first one by hand and brought it to me, the interpreter said, "Mr. Lee is very happy to tell you that he fixed the bird's eye and put a round eye like a bird." And so I got my little lesson of diplomacy. And I said, "Thank you very much," and smiled and bowed.
After that, Burch asked the craftsman to please stick to her designs, even if they seemed a bit odd. It was during this time that Burch also began teaching herself to paint, creating a whole new direction for her career.
From those early pieces of jewelry that Laurel Burch hammered out on the back of a frying pan has come all of this. Hundreds of products now carry her designs in countries all over the world.
She made millions on everything from pillows and purses to T-shirts and teapots. But as her creativity soared, her bone disease dragged her body down.
I go off to the hospital. Sometimes it's a year, sometimes 2 years to heal.
But she never stopped painting, sometimes with a cast on her arm, when she could barely lift the brush.
I would paint with my toes if I had to, probably.
That spirit has brought her new success at age 61. Still, there are setbacks. Recently, she broke her jaw in 2 places. once while yawning, a second time just eating dinner.
It's difficult for me to speak because of the configuration now of my jaw. But there's not a lot that'll keep me quiet.
The broken jawbone means her caretaker, Dina, now feeds her through a stomach tube.
Did you make me a margarita today?
No margarita, but a dose of painkiller. And while other famous artists have saturated their canvases with their suffering, Laurel Burch will have none of that, even as increasing pain threatens to cut her life short.
You're saying when you're in pain and when it's the worst, you're producing this explosion of color and happiness and joy.
Absolutely. Someone said, have you ever tried to paint your pain? I said, why would I want to do that? I want to share things in the world that lift people. I think that's what my jewelry and my art and all the things that I do is about. I want it to convey hopefulness and brightness and goodness.
And it does.
I hope so.